Hey guys, so Ken Coleman here. Happy Halloween, everybody. If you guys can just let me know if you can hear me okay, that would be terrific. Just wait for a few more people to come in as well. All right. Okay, I think we're good to start. If there's any audio issues when we're doing this, please just let me know. But again, I want to wish everybody a happy Halloween. Um, So here we have Yarbo. So Yarbo is dressed up for the occasion. So we have the basically the train hooked up. I don't know if you guys have seen the ads, but we surprised my niece and nephews um, with the train. Yarbo can tow up to 3,500 pounds. So we dressed Yarbo up like a train. We took off its smokestack. Sorry, its chute, and we replaced it with a smokestack. So for the kids later on, we're going to be trick or treating with them. So just to show you what that looks like really quick, because Yarbo has Bluetooth speakers, uh, we just play through the phone the train whistle, and then we actually put a fog machine in there, battery powered, to make this the illusion that it's a train. So just something fun for the kids. So we hope they're going to have a blast with that later. So for those that don't know, Yarbo is a modular yard robot. So we have something called our core body. Our core body is modular both in the front and the back. So in this particular setup, we have the snowblower hooked up here. Let me come around this way. So all modules work with the core body. Some modules, like the snowblower, have to go in the front. Some can go in the back. Some can also go in the front and back. So the blower, we're making an adapter that you'll be able to put it on the back. And if you have, say, the lawnmower you want to hook up to the front, you'll be able to do that and keep them both connected at the same time. The main core, some special things about this. One is it's the brains of the operation, right? So every module that connects with it does have its own main board, but they all have very similar sensors, which I'll get into in a minute. Its primary means of navigation is GPS, and when it doesn't have strong GPS signal, say you're going under a tree, then Yarbo will rely on something called wheel odometry, which is how many turns each motor makes on the map, each drive motor. Then it'll rely on its IMU, and lastly, its cameras. So Yarbo has cameras all the way around. Every module has what we call binocular cameras, right? So two cameras in the front works just like our eyes do for depth perception and obstacle detection. And it uses something called VIO, or visual inertia odometry, when your GPS is weak, and that actually allows you to keep accurate navigation even when you're under tree cover, which is really important for any kind of yard work where you're going to have trees hanging overhead, because a lot of robotic lawnmowers out there, they just stop, or they'll go for a minute and then they'll stop. So Yarbo will keep running, which is something that's pretty cool. So we have the two cameras in the front on every module. We have a camera on each side, and we have two binocular cameras in the back as well. So certain tasks, we're releasing a new update for the lawnmower where it'll be able to cut forwards and backwards, so we can increase the acreage. I'll get into the specifics with the lawnmower when we go over that, but that's something that's pretty cool. The other thing is all the cameras on the main body are heated. And if you get any module that's going to be used in the snow, they're heated as well. So these two cameras in the front are also heated, so you don't have to worry about ice buildup, snow buildup, anything like that. So again, this guy's modular in the front and in the back. So what I'll do real quick is I just want to disconnect this hitch for the train setup. Alrighty. And I just want to put this pin in because I will lose it if I don't. Okay. So let me spin this guy around. So I'm just going to go into the Yarbo app. You can control Yarbo via a physical controller or via the app, either one. So I'm just going to pick which Yarbo this is. Okay. Alrighty, and I'm just going to spin it around real quick. So let me move my tablet so I don't run that guy over. Okay, so a couple things here. So cameras, the other thing is all of them are lit. So they all have lights, and that's really important so Yarbo can operate at night. So if you look at the front again, we have two headlights. All modules have headlights. The main body actually has cameras and lights all the way around. So you can see the back light here. It also has tail lights. It has its modular connection in the back. So we have that ability as well. Hang on one second. I just want to lower the volume on this tablet so it doesn't interrupt us. Okay. This also has a trailer hitch. So some of the things about this main core that's pretty neat. Now I can show you in a minute. I'll get something called their Smart Assist cover, but it allows you to do a couple things. Something called Follow Me mode, something called Patrol mode, and the last one being tow mode. So basically, Yarbo can tow up to 3,500 pounds, which is why we'll be filling this with kids later, and the last car will probably have candy. And again, it could tow up to 3,500 pounds, so that's pretty cool. And in tow mode, you can tow, say, a leaf sweeper, say it's 4 feet wide, and you want a 1 foot overlap between passes, and since it already knows the layout of your lawn, it can tow a leaf sweeper methodically that you would pick up at, say, Home Depot or Lowe's. Anything that you would tow with a regular ride-on tractor, you can tow with Yarbo. It's a universal hitch, so that's pretty neat. The other thing is these tracks. So in this particular setup, we have the Snowblower on here, and I'll switch that out in a minute. But these are actually our turf tracks on here. So these turf tracks are made to not damage the lawn. You can even zero turn on the lawn, but I'll get into that when we go over the lawnmower. And these are our snow tracks. And one thing we didn't have the ability to do with last year's version was quick change tracks. Now we do. So you can actually switch out the tracks very easily. It takes about 5 minutes per side, and you can take this turf track off and then put on this snow track, and you can see there's optional studs here too that you can either leave in or remove. And this comes with the snowblower. Some people have wanted to actually use this on extremely steep hills with the lawnmower, so we will sell it as an accessory also in case you want more aggressive tracks. So that's pretty neat. While we have the snowblower out here, I will spin it around again and just show you some of those unique features. So obviously this has a smokestack on it, but this is our chute. So it's a steel chute. You can control the angle of the deflector. It'll rotate about 200 degrees on Yarbo. And when you set up Yarbo, you are going to drive it around your driveway or whatever area you want it to cover. And then you'll pick where you want to create the snow piles. There's a bunch of customizations within there. You can have basically as many areas as you'd like, and then you can have pathways between areas. And there's also a sidewalk mode. Last winter, we didn't have a sidewalk mode, but a lot of people told us, hey, we're responsible for our sidewalk, and the area algorithm doesn't really work well on the sidewalk. So we came out with a dedicated sidewalk mode. And within those areas and those modes, you can control the auger height, the minimum auger height. So if you're a gravel driveway, maybe you can set that to the maximum, 2 inches high. It also has snowshoes, so it can handle gravel driveways. The other thing that's nice is if you have a walkway then that's maybe paved, you can have that as a separate section, right? And you can lower the auger all the way down. And one of the things that's really nice about this is that it's actually power. So one of the really cool things with that said is Yarbo can actually, if you have any pavement or sidewalk, anything that's not gravel or dirt, then you can set Yarbo to the lowest point of your driveway all the time. With a typical 2-stage snowblower, you're going to set it to the highest point because you don't want to catch it on everything all the time. But that leaves a film behind, right? It leaves some snow behind. So with Yarbo, you're actually scraping down to the lowest point of your driveway. Again, provided that you don't have a gravel driveway. And you're getting a clean scrape. And if we go over uneven ground, we detect that, we back up a few inches, raise the auger up, continue forward a few inches, and then lower it again until we get past that unlevel area. And then again, we're scraping to the bottom of the ground again. The intake here is a 12-inch intake. So that's really cool. So the 12-inch intake is really just for the end of the driveway, right? Everyone's worried about the berm, that snowplows leave at the end of the driveway. So although Yarbo has a 12-inch intake, that can actually raise up another 2 inches for a 14-inch intake. And even if you have snow at the end of the driveway that's higher than that, Yarbo will basically just keep attacking it. So it'll back up, go forward, back up, go forward. That's important. And the other thing that you can do is make the end of your driveway a separate area that you can prioritize. So every time Yarbo goes out, it does the end of the driveway. So if the plow dumps, 4 inches of snow, that becomes a foot. Yarbo can do that real fast and then do the rest of your driveway in a slower amount of time. So when the Yarbo comes, when the plow comes again, there's less and less snow for it to collect there at the end of the driveway, because it can make that a priority. So that's a big deal. Yarbo is also weather aware, so it knows when it's going to snow. That's something we didn't have last year. And you can, let it go out during either a schedule you set, or just let it go out whenever it knows there's going to be snow. And it's also, I'll go over this in a minute, but it's actually married to a wireless docking station. That was really important because Yarbo needs to be able to go back, clear off its own docking station of snow and around it, and then back up and charge wirelessly, so we don't have to worry about frozen contactors or shorting out contactors or corrosion or anything like that. So it's completely wireless charging from the main body to our wireless docking station. So some other things with this, you'll notice the binocular cameras in the front. So that's used for obstacle detection and avoidance. The other thing is, because all of our modules have these cameras, you can teleoperate Yarbo from anywhere in the world. So that's something that's really cool, without a subscription fee. So you can see exactly what Yarbo sees and drive it around no matter where you are. And I can show you an example of that in a minute. There's also a soft touch bumper. You can hear it say collision occurred. The nice part about that is I'm taking my finger and I'm just putting it here. And the nice part is you don't need an impact. It's not a mechanical bumper. It's resistive. So it only takes a light touch to trigger that. That's also on our lawnmower. So that's important. And then we also just have this little guy here. If you're in an area of wet snow, we recommend that you ceramic coat the unit. Ceramic coating hardens. Usually they come up to a 9-year hardening coating. I've done it with all my traditional snowblowers. I do it with Yarbo. I'm on Long Island in New York, so we get very, very wet snow at times. So you can still use the snowblower with wet snow, but I would definitely recommend coating it. So that's one thing. The other thing is we have an optional plow. The plow goes in place of this. So this is something we call our protection fence. Until you get used to the obstacle avoidance, then most people will leave this on initially and then remove it. So the way the safety works is if we detect a person or an animal, Yarbo will shut down and it'll make an announcement saying animal or person detected. Yarbo will continue when it's safe to do so. When that person moves out of the way and anywhere within Yarbo's range, because we also don't want to shoot snow at them, then it will make another announcement that Yarbo is going to continue to work, and it'll continue to work. If that person or animal comes back into view, it'll pause again. So that's really important. And then again, you can remove this fence and you can put a plow here, and you can change over in the app to plow mode, and it'll, instead of going how you have it configured for the snowblower to blow snow into different piles, it'll actually work side to side and push the snow to the edges of your driveway. So if you get an event that's maybe snow and then it rains and then it snows and then it rains again, and it's more like a slush, it's not even a wet snow, the plow is great for that. So that's another option for this. So that pretty much should cover the snowblower in a nutshell. Let's see here. If anybody has questions on that, please do let me know. Let me just hold on one second. I just want to bring up on here both Facebook and YouTube so I can get to your questions if you have any. Let's see here. Okay. I have a half concrete and half gravel driveway. Will Yarbo automatically raise it up when it gets to the gravel part, or do I need to create a separate map for the gravel part? So if it's half concrete and half gravel, I would definitely recommend separating those two, just making them two separate areas. Areas can actually overlap each other a little bit too. You don't want an area completely within another area, but where these two meet, you would probably want to have that as a separate area because you can control the auger height and throw directions for that separate area, right? So on your gravel part, you'd probably want to set it to 2 inches, and then on the other part, you could set it lower. Give me 1 second here. I just want to, my YouTube app timed out, so I just want to jump into theirs, make sure I don't miss any questions there. Okay, let's see here. So someone was asking, was dry ice used inside the snowblower to simulate the locomotive? Dry ice? No, actually, the way that works, it's super simple. It's just PVC piping from actually Home Depot. A little flange at the bottom you get at Home Depot. We put it in the screw that already goes in to hold the chute in. So it's all standard parts. We just painted it. And this is what actually makes the smoke. So it's just from Amazon. It's a little fog machine. It works off Wi-Fi because some of them are RF, but we didn't want to have to worry about line of sight because it would be blocked by this. So we just take this, and what's in here is actually a little pool noodle. This is what I had on hand. So the pool noodle just raises this up to get the fog out quicker. We place that in there, and when we want to make smoke, we just press the button. And if we want to make smoke continuously, we just double click it. So just something fun for the kids. Like I said, I have niece and nephews and a 2-year-old and 5-year-old. My 2-year-old is obsessed with trains. So it's just something neat for him to play with. And we thought it was a little unique. All right. So let's see what else we have here as far as questions go. Fake teeth would have been great on it. Yes, I completely agree. Actually, on our Facebook group, some people really came out with some unique ideas. One of our customers, Will, he, instead of making a smokestack, he took a horse's head on the top, and then behind it, instead of pulling like these carts, he dressed up one cart as a chariot, and he had his kids behind it with like reins behind it. It was really cute. There's been a lot of, someone else put a light up skull on the chute that they can move around. We're planning to put it after we go trick-or-treating around this neighborhood, which is with my nieces and nephews and my kids. We're going to go back to my house, and then I'm going to set Yarbo up with its Smart Assist cover and use Bluetooth, to scare the kids as they're walking up to the house, because Yarbo has, Bluetooth speakers built in, so you can connect to it, you can play music, anything like that. That's how we play the train whistle. So how loud can the speakers get? Let's see here. How loud can the speakers get? Pretty loud. I can start to play the beginning of a song. I just can't play the whole thing because I don't want to get copyrighted, but copyright struck. So let me give you an example of that really fast. So I'll just play the first little beginning of it. Lonely road. So that's about as loud as it gets. It gets pretty loud. Here's just the beginning. So hope that gives you an idea. And the reason we have that too is in patrol mode. Well, I'll show you that, and I'll go over the Smart Assist cover in a minute. But in patrol mode, we want to make an announcement, right? That we've detected a person or animal, depending on what you want, to configure. And then we can make an audible announcement saying, hey, please leave the premises. The owner has been notified. Take a picture, send it to you. And that's something we're excited to get in beta in people's hands. Actually, I don't know if the update wasn't pushed today. It'll be within the next day or two. So the audio is actually, some of it's fun, but some of it is actually really useful too. So, alrighty. Let's see here. So that's that end of it. Another second here. Okay, if there's any other questions about the snowblower, please let me know, and I will answer them. Let's see here. How can I blow hard, wet snow with this snowblower? Sure. So this is Ty Phil. So if you have wet snow, I would definitely ceramic coat it. Yeah, I would definitely ceramic coat it. And again, we have the optional plow as well, and that's pretty inexpensive. But I would just say ceramic coat it. Ceramic coat it and use a 9-year hardening because you're going to do it once. It's a pretty easy process. A lot of our customers do it. And then because it's a 9-year coating, if it lasts you 3 or 4 years, you don't have to do it, every time. If you do like a Teflon coating that you spray on, it'll come right back off, after 1 or 2 uses of Yarbo going out. So, and the other important part to Yarbo is, again, it's designed to work through the storm. So it doesn't matter if you get, a foot or 4 or 5 feet. All we care about is inches per hour. And we can handle up to about 6 inches per hour, which is kind of unheard of. Maybe in Buffalo, you might see that, right? In a really big storm, or like in Lake Tahoe, something like that. But maybe parts of Canada, that type of stuff. Nana was asking any suggestions for a good ceramic coating. Yeah. Um, it's Adams ceramic coating. There's a spray and there's an actual coating, but you can get a kit from them that has an ultraviolet light and shows you exactly what you coated and what you didn't. And you put it on very much like a wax. So you just rub it on, and then you just can use the purple light to see where you coated. You wait a few minutes for it to like glaze over, and then you just rub it off or buff it out. And then you're done. Can you add weight to Yarbo for it to plow snow? Snow plow for traction. Oasis window cleaning is asking. I mean, yes, you can add weight, but you probably won't need it, because the other thing that will start to happen over time, and this is why I ceramic coat even this part, is that you will get snow that builds up on the actual unit and gives it even more weight to push down. The other thing is, because this is a powered linear actuator, if you set it to its lowest point, it will actually create some resistance there, right? So you can actually lower this, and you might not be able to see this, but it's actually putting a lot of downforce on the front of the module. So so that also helps us not really have to do that. The engine, is it enough powerful to blow wet snow? Yes, it is, but I want to be realistic with you. So I had a competitor's brand 56 volt 2-stage snowblower. It did not lack any power, but in dry snow, and Yarbo's the same, it'll blow snow 40 feet, no problem. In wet snow, you're probably talking about, 20 feet. Really, really wet snow, maybe 15 feet. But as long as you have that ceramic coating on it, it should do very well. The other thing is you want enough snow to blow, but not too much, right? So if you're trying to blow a foot of snow with any 2-stage snowblower and it's really wet, it's going to struggle. But if you're only doing, 2 or 3 inches at a time, and you keep moving, then that's really the idea, right? So it's not the same type of struggle that you would have with a 2-stage snowblower doing a foot after the event. We're working through the event. And again, if it becomes a slush, the plow is really a great solution for that. And that is an accessory to the actual snowblower. So let's see here. So a couple of other questions. How long would it take to clear an acre of area with the snowblower, and would recharge be needed? For an acre, yes, definitely. You would definitely have to recharge for an acre of area. You can do about 7,000 square feet if you're doing an inch or two. 2 to 3 inches of snow. You can cover about 7,000 feet per charge. So, and we are doing things with the algorithm this year that we haven't released yet. Like in wet snow, we're going to drive forward and inclines. And instead of turning around and coming back the other way, which could be uphill, and also with wet snow, you want to keep moving. So when you slow down, that gives the snow time to stick, right? But if you're constantly moving snow through the snowblower, then you're less likely to have it stick, especially with a ceramic coating. But one of the things we're doing for even steep inclines, and we learned this on a gravel driveway in Colorado last year that was very steep. They got wet snow, and we'll basically go forward down the hill, and then we'll back up along the same path of the driveway that we just cleared. So there's no resistance. So we don't have to worry about getting stuck, and we don't have to worry about working against the hill, saying, if it's 6 or 7 inches of snow, climbing and getting traction in that hill. So we'll back all the way up to the top of the hill, we'll move over, and then we'll go down for the next pass again. So that's something that's really important that we weren't doing before. What about a double pass function? Oasis window cleaning. We actually have that now. So there is a double clean function. So that's already in there. Let's see here. So someone else is asking, let's see, haven't received my 24 model yet. I plan to map my driveway and leave my cars parked in the driveway within the mapped area. Will 2024 model go around cars? My 2023, yeah, drove into the cars with the bumper. Correct. So the 2024 will be able to go around cars. We're actually releasing that feature next month. So that's one of the other reasons for the binocular cameras in the front, that we want to not only be able to recognize those obstacles, and we also did a lot of work with cars. So cars are tricky because if you're trying to detect the whole car, that's fine. But let's say you drive into the driveway, someone drives into the driveway while Yarbo is working, and now all Yarbo gets a chance to see is a bumper. So we've actually use like instant segmentation to break up the parts of a car so we know what a bumper is versus other objects. And you can also do no-go zones. So that's another thing. I bought the plow for my 2023. Is it compatible with 2024? Am I supposed to buy a new plow? I used it once. So if you bought the 2023 plow, you're actually getting a free 2024 version of the plow. And I believe those all ship in December. Or I'm sorry, are going to be delivered in December. My bad. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. If you upgraded to 2024, you're going to get a free plow that's compatible with it. Will the mower be able to do double pass function as well? Yes. So actually, I mean, there's different ways to do that. I'll get into the mower in a little bit, but there's many different patterns you can choose from. Checkerboard, excuse me, is one. Diamond is another pattern. Parallel. So checkerboard essentially will cut it twice. Sorry, I'm driving with voice to text. No worries. When using the snowblower autonomously, does the product avoid or try to avoid throwing snow on close by neighborhood cars or driveway? Yeah, so it's the way you set it up. We are working on something called no throw zones. It's not out yet, but what you can actually do is, and this is dependent on the area or the pathway it's taking from one area to the next, but you can actually create those snow pile areas, and you can also create, you bring up a good point, the maximum angle that we're throwing at and the minimum angle. So if you have a neighbor to the left of you and you can only throw the snow 6 to 8 feet, then you can set it down to only 6 to 8 feet when it gets to the edge of the driveway, and you won't, slam your neighbor's driveway with snow, let's say. If on the other side of the driveway or the other area you're creating a snow pile, you want to raise that up, you can. And then you could throw the snow 40 feet if you have no neighbor to the right of you and you just want to get it as far away as you can. So yeah, that's a great idea. Great question. When in autonomous mode, can the product automatically adjust how strong and which direction the snow is blowing to avoid blowing the snow on a close neighbor's driveway? Okay, I think that's what we just answered. Let's see here. Okay, we got the plow question. Okay, so if there's no more questions with the snowblower, I'm going to move on to the smart cover. And if you guys have questions, I have no problem, answering them as well as we go or towards the end. So hang on one second for me. Let me bring over, well, actually, you know what? This is a good opportunity to show you guys how you actually change modules. And all the modules are changed pretty much the same way. So every module, you don't have to turn Yarbo off for this. You're basically just going to lift up 2 tabs on most modules, except for one, and I'll show you that in a minute. So 1 tab here, 1 tab here, no tools, and you're just going to pull the module up and forward, and now it's off. And there's actually a protective cover on here that would normally cover this, but it's locked in with a screw, and because I'm doing this demo, I didn't want to have to take the time to unscrew it, but normally there would be a nice cover over here to make this just look nicer. So you just twist this little connector. It's a twist lock, give it a wiggle, and now it's off. And our snowblower is now off. So now I'm going to go grab the smart cover. So this is, I shouldn't call it a smart cover, this is our smart assistant module. And this does a couple of other modes as well. So to hook this up, I'm just going to again connect this one cable. You'll hear a click, and then I'm going to take the cover and push it on. Now, all of our modules with the exception of one, which is this guy, disconnect the same way. 2 levers that you pull up. This particular module actually has a little press to remove on the bottom, so you just push it in and it will unlock. So this is our Smart Assist cover. And with this guy, let me move this out of the way. Let me show you how this works. This is something that's pretty neat. It's getting released to, this is a new feature that's getting released to our customers in the next few days. So I'm super excited for them to play with it. So again, you can drive Yarbo around if you'd like. The other thing that you can do is, and I hope you guys will be able to see this, so I'm going to bring this up here. But let me take off this tracking for a second. So you can actually see what Yarbo sees when you're driving it. So not only can you see all the cameras in real time, but when you're driving Yarbo, you can see what it sees as well. And there is next to no latency. The team worked really, really hard on making it low bandwidth, although it is HD quality, 1080p. All cameras are actually high resolution, which is pretty cool. HD last year, they were lower resolution. So that's something cool that we upgraded. But you can see here, you have the front camera. If I click this, you have the back camera in this little view. And if you click that, that'll show the back camera and then the left and right camera on each side. So that's pretty neat. Now what I'm going to show you is I will go in and I'm going to ask Yarbo to follow me. So first I will hook up, let me click back into here. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. I'm going to disconnect this trailer just for a temporary moment here. So we're not pulling the entire train because I want to leave some of it here for the time being. Okay. Now I'm going to back Yarbo up. Okay. And a couple of use cases for this could be, fun things like this, just towing the kids around the neighborhood and not wanting to constantly manually control Yarbo. The other one could be if you're moving mulch or cement pavers, maybe you have 1,000 pounds of cement pavers. Each of these carts can hold 1,200 pounds. But let's say, maybe you had mulch and you wanted to do that, or like my mother, she's 77 years old and she loves, planting and gardening. My father could get the mulch bags onto a cart, right, or the plants, but she's not going to carry them all over the yard. So this is a pretty neat use case for that type of stuff. So I actually see that wheel is a little caught up in our spider webbing, but let me bring Yarbo over here and click it in here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Yarbo. And in the settings page, you're going to see a feature called Follow Me. And right now it's in beta. But basically, you see the camera that Yarbo sees, right? It's front camera. And so now, let me move this over a little bit to give you a better view, hopefully. And now I'm going to go in front of Yarbo. And I am going to, hold on one second. Oh, okay, that is odd. Hold on one second. As I said, this is in beta, but it has worked very well for me, so I'm not quite sure why it's getting upset here. Hold on one second. Hang on one moment for me. Let me go out of the way for a second. Step in the way. Hang on one second. So it should want to do this on its own. Let me see here. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do really fast? I'm going to reboot Yarbo because I said this feature is beta, but I was using it all this morning. I am on a test build that was just pushed this morning. Give me 1 second here. So we're going to ask Yarbo to shut down, and then I will restart it really fast. And while that's doing that, we'll go over to the docking station for a second, and then I'll try this again. I would like to show this to you guys live because it's pretty cool. And like I said, I've been using it pretty often. So let me turn it back on. Okay, I'm going to let that boot back up. Let me bring you guys this way. Let me just go over the wireless docking station and the data center with you guys. So, and I hope this sun isn't too bright. So this is our wireless docking station. This plugs into a regular, 15 amp outlet. So no special requirements there. Yarbo with the snowblower basically drives on here forward, cleans this off, and then will back up and park itself here. So it's actually cleaning off its own charging station in the winter time, which is important. We tried heat and things like that, but heat just melts snow and then creates ice around the docking station. So this was the best option for this. And actually, last year's model was a little bit bigger. It actually had another power supply hanging off the back, so we've made it smaller. And then in the future, we want to release another docking station that's even smaller than this, so Yarbo, if it's towing something, can pull on from any direction. But this was a big deal, getting wireless charging in here. So with the, oh, he just said ready to work. Okay, we'll go over there in a second. So as far as and I see there's some more questions in here, so I'll grab those in a second. As far as the lawnmower won't zero turn like the snowblower. So you can actually pick zero turn or 3-point turn or smart turn. So with the lawnmower, Yarbo will pull up forwards, line itself up with the docking station, and then make a 3-point turn so it doesn't damage the lawn, and then park itself and get ready to go out and charge again. Same thing with the blower. So that's the other side of it. The other thing I just want to go over real quick is this data center. So I'm going to hold this in front of the camera for a minute. This is our data center. So in order to get a GPS signal, you can take this and either install it in the ground. If you have an open line of sight to the sky, we try and say you should have it, ideally in a perfect world, 120-degree view of the sky. So a lot of people put these on the peaks of their roofs, things like that. But actually, a lot of times I put mine in my front yard because it's an open area. That's all it really needs. So as a rule of thumb, the higher the better. But if you live in an area that's pretty open, doesn't have a lot of tree cover where you're going to put this in the ground, that's okay too. So this is our GPS antenna up top here, right here. This is our Wi-Fi Halo antenna. Wi-Fi Halo is a big deal. So we are one of the only products to integrate Wi-Fi Halo at the moment. And the reason that's such a big deal is a lot of competitors use something called LoRa. LoRa is like, dial-up type speeds, but very long range. And it's great for sending commands to a robot like start, stop, things like that. But if you want to get real-time data, especially streaming video, then LoRa will not do that. So Wi-Fi Halo, and the other side, right, you have regular Wi-Fi, which is extremely high bandwidth, right, couple of gigabits in certain, applications, but very short range comparably. So Wi-Fi Halo is somewhere in the middle. It'll do, 15 megabits up, 15 megabits down, which is enough to stream our 4 camera views in HD. And that'll theoretically go over 32 acres or a little bit more unobstructed. So if you're in an unobstructed area. Now, the biggest area that we have to cover is the lawn, and I'll get into the lawnmower module in a second, but the lawnmower module can actually maintain 6 acres. So our 32-acre coverage is way beyond that. We might be able to increase the range, or we will be able to increase the range of the lawnmower probably beyond that 6 acres, because that 6 acres is 3-point turning. And because our newest model that you're seeing here has back cameras, we can mow forward and we can mow in reverse. So when we go down one pass, we're just going to, instead of making turns that take a long time, we're just going to move over, to overlap for the next turn and then mow in the other direction. So that's something that's really neat that will also probably increase that 6 acres. So this is future proofed, which is really cool. So that's our data center. The other thing that's really neat with this is if you are in a blizzard and you do lose internet for some reason, this can actually work offline. So if you lose internet, it'll go from a solid green to a blinking green light, and it will actually still work autonomously offline as long as it has power. That's all it needs. So that's something that's really neat, and you could just use a battery bank for something like that. The other thing I do want to mention with this is how you actually power this and get it connected. So Yarbo has just one Ethernet cable, one power over Ethernet cable, 100 feet long, that we supply it with to you, or we supply the cable for you guys, and then another cable that goes to your router. That's for a wired connection. The data center has to be wired, but if you do want to use like a wireless solution, you could plug this into like a wireless access point. If you don't, so like, for example, at my house, my router is actually on the other side of my house to where I actually put the data center. So I just use a wireless access point and I plug this power injector right into there. If your router or access point already has power over Ethernet in it, you don't need this adapter, and you'll just take this Ethernet cable, plug it into your power over Ethernet or PoE port of your router or access point, and that will both power and get internet to the data center. So we tried to simplify the process there. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, Brian. Hey, Brian, how are you? Let's see here. When will the core be able to attach the back of the But when will the blower be able to attach to the back of the core? So we're actually working on that adapter now. I will ask the team to get you a time frame of it, but I would imagine around the time of the delivery. Let's see. I can see that helpful bringing firewood up to the house. Yep. Yarbo says he's a leader, not a follower. That's funny. On the new following feature that you are about to show, can you change the setting of how far or how close Yarbo will stay next to you? So that's a great point, Tyler. Right now you can't, but we definitely want to have those customizations. And really, we want feedback from you guys, right, on what you want to see in the Follow Me feature. Ryan said that explains the 4-channel video. Yep. Problems. Brian said, oh, Brian, you said problems with server. Can't check my order. Okay. I will definitely let the team know if there's an issue in the portal. Let's see. Sanarin said, I'm also in Long Island. Also, neighbor's driveway is about 4 feet away. Would you recommend not throwing snow in that area? If your neighbor's driveway is 4 feet away, yeah, probably. But then you could send it to the other side, right? Because our minimum snow throwing distance is like 6 to 8 feet from Yarbo. If he's only 4 feet away, you could be throwing 2 feet of snow on there. So you could just throw it to the other side of the driveway if you wanted. Can you get it to follow a dog or some other kind of pet? I mean, technically we could, minus the safety implications, right? Because that's the one thing, when it's following you, it's not going to use obstacle avoidance. But if there was a reason to do that, we could discuss it, right? Technically, yes. I'd love it if Yarbo could unhook that cart autonomously. Yeah, so we do, because of the back of Yarbo is modular, we have power and data in the back, right? For leaf sweepers, granular salt spreaders, liquid sprayers, things like that we're developing in the future. A lot of people also want the ability for it to couple with your garbage can and bring it out on a schedule and then release it. So we could absolutely make an adapter that, could couple and uncouple, and we're very customer driven. So really, any module we build next is going to come from current, Yarbo customers, because those are the ones that are probably going to invest in the module first. And that, you can ask anybody that's a current customer. In the beginning of last year, in the beginning of last winter, Yarbo could throw to the left and to the right, but it didn't have a sidewalk mode, a dedicated sidewalk mode. It didn't have a lot of these like other settings like pathways each having their own individual snow throwing area, and auger heights not being able to be adjusted per pathway per area. So all that stuff was built in from feedback from customers based on what you guys said you needed most, and it was prioritized that way too. So let's see here. So then we have, where do we get repair service in Canada? So we actually have dealers in Canada, but right now, if there is an issue with Yarbo, we ship you a replacement. So let's just say that the chute breaks, right? If the chute broke for some reason, and you're comfortable replacing it at 6 screws, we'll send you a chute, you could swap it out, not a problem. If for some reason it was something more involved than that, then we will just replace the module. And we ship you the module first, and then you ship us back the broken one. We refurbish that for the next user. And the reason we're doing that is we know that it's what we did last winter. Our average replacement rate was around 3 to 5 business days time. So, and the reason we do that is we know that if a lawnmower breaks, it might not be as urgent, but if a snowblower breaks, that's a big deal, right? And we want to have you up and running as soon as possible. So, so that's really important. So let's see here. So then we have, let's see. I was thinking of using Yarbo to tow my nephew uphill to teach him to ski this year, and the most mobile chairlift award goes to nice. Okay, and then maybe put ludicrous mode just for towing up steep hills. Yeah, that's cool. All right, let me see if I can get the follow me mode going again. So I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to again click follow me. Oh, there we go. Okay. So again, it's in beta. It must have some kind of little quirk, but now you can see Yarbo is actually able to follow me. And you can see that what Yarbo sees while it's actually doing that. I think our rotation is probably going to stop on the camera at some point, I would imagine. But so again, whether you had, a ton of power, a ton of weight, or a little weight, Yarbo can follow you pretty much anywhere, which is pretty neat. I am going to be in the limits of the gimbal here on the camera, so I'm going to pop out of that. And I'm just going to bring Yarbo around myself here so I can get it the other way. Alrighty. All right, so let me go this way. Hold on one second. Okay, let me go back over here. Hang on, guys. Let me spin this camera this way again. Hold on. Okay. All right, so that's follow me mode. Sorry, it took a minute to get that going. When do the 2024 models come in? If I order today, when can I expect it to arrive in Toronto? So in Toronto, the lead time is 8 weeks right now. That's being realistic, right? So you're talking about 2 months. So you'd have it before the end of the year. Because everybody that pre-ordered a snowblower right now will have theirs by November, where they're either a Kickstarter backer from us or they pre-order it from the website. So anybody else is about 8 weeks out at the moment. But you would definitely have it by then. And you said the data center does not need line of sight to the Yarbo or the charging pad. That's correct. That's correct. Since we're essentially using a long range network, right? Wireless network, you do not need line of sight. And unlike LoRa, Wi-Fi Halo actually is really good at penetrating through like walls, trees. There's even cases, it's not going to go 32 acres, but there's even cases where, people use it because they need internet in their say basement, right? And their Wi-Fi Halo access point is actually, fairly far away, and it has to get down, into the ground. So it's really powerful. Will it start following someone else if two people are following each other? Hey, Isaac. Actually, I want to give a shout out to Isaac. Isaac is one of our dealers from Michigan Robotics in Michigan. He's been a huge, huge help. And actually, Isaac, I was going to try and get some ice today to try and snow blow, but it's 80 degrees here. And so Isaac had given us that idea. It shows in the warm weather, take ice, snow blow it, show the power of Yarbo, but it's 80 degrees here, and that wasn't going to happen today. But you bring up a good point. So will it start following someone else if two people sorry, this is blocked a little bit, if two people are near each other? So it right now it follows the closest person to Yarbo. But in the future, we definitely want to build upon this so that it recognizes you and can follow you. So if someone else comes into the scene, it will still follow you. We don't have that right now. Right now, the closest person to Yarbo is who it will follow. So good question. Do you plan on having inventory so I can buy out of stock? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Realistically, though, with all the pre-orders that probably will not come until like December or January of this year. But then, yeah, we do plan to actually stock. Are there places this can't be used legally since it has all those cameras? I mean, no, not that I could think of. Not that I could think of, because in most yards, things like that, you're using it privately, and at least in the States, if you're using it in say a private business or a public area, there's no expectation of privacy, right? So yeah, I don't really see an issue there. I mean, the other thing that you could do is we could have options to turn off the cameras, knowing that you'll lose some features. But we have had some government areas interested in Yarbo, and if they knew that, hey, we can still do this, but the navigation under trees, it can still do it, but it's not going to be as accurate, and there's some give and take there, then we could entertain that. So let's see here. Let's see what else we got here. Towing idea. Would it be possible to save two locations and have it quickly tow something back and forth between them with a single button push? Yeah, like point A to point B. Absolutely. So that type of functionality is going to come with tow mode. Right now, we're planning for tow mode at the end of November or early December, and that would also let you go point A to point B. Or you could use something now as a workaround, like a pathway. So you could send Yarbo down a pathway and then stop it when it gets to the end of the pathway, or like a dead end is another feature. So you could do that as well, for sure. So let's see here. Alrighty, I don't ever see Yarbo cutting grass that needs to cut. So if you mean you haven't seen videos of Yarbo cutting grass, I would definitely tell you to look at some videos from this year's Equip show, which was about 2 weeks ago. And we have Yarbo taking down grass that was about 7 inches and taking it down to about an inch in one pass. That's the 2024 model. So the 2023 model is definitely much more of a maintainer. You can take down high grass, but you're obviously going to be left with a ton of clippings. I would never recommend going from 7 inches down to, say, 1 inch, right? But one person wanted to see, hey, can it technically do it? And it did do it. That's the 2024 model, which has a cleaner, cutting capacity. But again, you don't really want to do that. One, it's not healthy for the lawn. Two, you're going to leave a ton of thatch on the ground, but it will cut it. So I hope that answers that question. Does Yarbo have a sentry mode if someone tries to take it? Yeah, so Yarbo actually has a couple of different anti-theft features. One of them being, so let me just go into one other feature of this smart cover. Hold on one second. I'm going to move this tread out of the way. And let me ask Yarbo again to follow me real quick. So I'm just going to have it come over here fast. Okay, so Yarbo actually has something called, let's go on the anti-theft front first, right? So Yarbo, if you set up a geofence area, right? The geofence area, let's say in this yard, is the front yard. So I can tell Yarbo, hey, if you leave the street, right? If you leave my yard, then the assumption is you've been stolen, right? And I want you to send off an alarm. So we have a couple of passive anti-theft features and I would say active anti-theft features, right? So one of them being the weight. So Yarbo is extremely heavy. It's probably about 100 pounds the way it sits right now. 30 pounds of that is in the battery. The rest is in the main body. If you put an attachment on like the Snowblower, you're actually talking probably closer to like 180 pounds, something like that. And with the lawnmower, about 150 pounds. Could two people come by, pick up each side and get it in the back of a pickup truck? Sure. Couple things on that front. When you get Yarbo, you're actually pairing Yarbo to your email address and you become the owner. And you have to do that through two-factor authentication. So you get a quick security code you have to enter. And when you get that security code, you have 1 minute to enter that and then it expires. When you if you ever wanted to sell your Yarbo, you have to go through the same thing. You have to basically deauthorize yourself as an owner, and you will again be asked for a code to enter. There are no buttons on Yarbo. The only thing you're going to see here, and I shouldn't say that, there's two buttons on Yarbo. One is this guy, which is our emergency stop button. Okay, and you probably just heard him say emergency stop. The other one is the power button, and the power button is actually a momentary button. So when you press it, it actually won't turn Yarbo off. You can do that through the app, but we do that for anti-theft reasons. So the other thing is if I come over here and let's say two people do pick up Yarbo, Yarbo's going to know it's being picked up because the GPS location is moving and the motors aren't turning. So at that point, you can have it send you a notification or you can have it set off an alarm through its speakers. But if they leave your property, then it's going to switch over. It's going to know that it's out of that geofence area. It's going to turn on 4G because it does have a 4G antenna in here. And then you're going to be able to track Yarbo anywhere in the world for about 10 days until that's if the battery is fully charged, right? Obviously less than that if it's not. But again, there's also security screws you can put in for the battery. So most people don't know where the battery is. It's actually right here and it's hot swappable. But I don't have the security screws in here because I like to just take it off quick to show you guys where the battery is. But that's something that that you can do. That's pretty cool too. So and then again, you can track Yarbo anywhere in the world. So the recovery rate should be very high should someone steal it. But again, if they steal it, they can't do anything with it. So I hope that answers the anti-theft question. Let's see here, a couple more questions. Okay, so that's the Sentry. Oh, and again, Yarbo also has something called Patrol Mode is actually getting released in the next day or two in beta, just like the Follow Me mode. So you can set up Yarbo with its Smart Assistant cover to actually patrol your yard. And if it sees, you can configure this, either a person or an animal. It can make an announcement like, hey, the owner's been notified, please leave the premises immediately. And then you can have it either repeat that message, if it continues to see the person, follow the person until they leave your yard. It can email you, do a push notification to you through the app, which is something we actually didn't have before, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty neat. And again, that's person or animals or both. You can pick. Someone said, I noticed in a video of the 2024 Yarbo might be a bit louder than the 2023 model. Is this meant to be, or could there have been a problem with the tracks as there was a loud noise? So yeah, actually, KevDog, that was your question, and Tony Moro, 20% more powerful probably adds to the motor whine, and that is 100% true. So this is 20% more powerful than the previous year, and that's a big deal, especially going up like inclines and turning against the incline and towing. Adam X, do you have any plans to add a bagger for the lawnmower? So probably not for the lawnmower module itself, but we would probably look into having like a lawn sweeper, power lawn sweeper that also mulches, in addition to like a leaf vacuum that you could either put on the back of Yarbo if it's a leaf sweeper, right? Or on the front of Yarbo if it's a leaf vac or possibly the back. A bagging one, we will probably have a different module come out in the future, which we've discussed internally with straight blades. That's made more for like commercial use. But that would be something in the future, which we don't have now. KevDog said, what is the exact type of grease we should use for Yarbo tracks and how often should we apply it? Will there be a dedicated a dedicated YouTube video Yarbo makes for this. Yes, we will absolutely make there is already a video on the quick release tracks, but we absolutely will make a video on how to do that. Okay, so let's see where else we're at here. So a couple of other questions. I keep losing you on Facebook, so I don't know if my question got answered. My question was, sorry about that, Deborah Scott. My question was, does the cameras need to be cleaned periodically? If they do, will the app send a notification? Yeah, I mean, it depends the environment that you're in. So, if you're going through like a really dusty area, then yeah, you might have to wipe off the cameras, but it will notify you if it thinks the lens is dirty, a camera lens. And then you can also check in the app at any time to actually look through the cameras as well. But it's not something that, like in my situation and in testing, we haven't come across like actually having to wipe the cameras off. But again, that being said, if you bring Yarbo out in a rainstorm because you heard a loud noise and you wanted to, when there were high winds and you want to drive Yarbo out to see what that noise was in your yard and it's going through a bunch of mud and stuff, then yeah, obviously you'd have to wipe it off. But typically, we don't really have that problem. Will the blower still mount on the back with the mower on the front? Yeah, so we're actually making an adapter for that. Let's see. I works love to see a Yarbo design gate opener. My back front yard are separated by a PVC fence gate. So I can't say who we're working with right now, but we are working with a company that is dedicated to making gates for robotic lawnmowers right now. And we are working with them for integration. That's what they specialize in. It's a great gate. And we are working with them to partner with them to offer a gate for Yarbo to get in between the front and backyard. More importantly, a locking gate, right? So if you have a pool in the United States, in a lot of areas, you're required to have a fence around it. So we wanted to make sure that, that gate locks. I have a 2-year-old. He'll explore wherever he wants to go. If I say we're going inside to try and entice him to get him inside, like we're going to, leave him behind, he doesn't care. He'll stay outside. So we want it to be a locking gate. Other than that, some people have made like flaps in the door, flaps in the gate, for Yarbo to push through, stuff like that. But we were originally going to come out with our own gate, and we still might at some point. But to get to market quicker, we're going to partner with a company that already specializes in it. Let's see here. So someone said, is it a mulcher? Yes. So the way that the lawn, let's actually get into the lawnmower for a second. So let me disconnect this trailer and let's go over the lawnmower. So give me 1 second here. Alrighty, let me bring Yarbo over to the lawnmower module. All right, I'm going to take off this smart cover. So again, I'm just going to push this button on the bottom and pull it forward. And then I'm going to twist this little connector and I'm just going to wiggle it off. And now it's free. So on the lawnmower module, there's a handle right here. And actually, because the front has wheels, you can just wheel it back. So I'm just going to wheel it back. I usually like to put the lower part on first. There's 4 pins here, so the lower part is resting on the pins. And now I am going to just lift up and push in. And then I'm going to lock it. And you'll hear it click. So there you heard it click. So now it's hooked up. Just to show you guys really quick in the app, it now says mower module changed. And now when I click this, I now get a picture of the mowing module and a different set of options. So now I can control the speed of the mower, the height adjustment. So let me show you some of that. So a couple things. Again, hopefully you guys can see here, but Yarbo has headlights again all the way around, or lights all the way around, I should say. It has ultrasonic sensors. That's unique to the lawnmower because something we wanted an extra layer of information, right? So we used ultrasonic sensors here. Soft touch bumper again. Soft touch bumper is great because if you have really small, narrow objects that the cameras might not see, like a sprinkler head, maybe your sprinkler head works, but something that happens a lot is that they don't recess into the ground again. Typical robotic lawnmowers will not detect it and will usually run them over, but this would actually let you bump it and because it's pressure sensitive, it won't destroy it. It'll know that it hit the front bumper or the right or the left, and it'll go around it. So that's pretty cool. On the noise front of the lawnmower, I'm just going to turn the blades on. So you can hear it's very quiet. I'll show you the underside in a minute. As far as height goes, one thing that's unique to Yarbo is the cutting blades go up to 4 inches and all the way down to 1.2 inches. So that's a big deal. Some other things regarding the mower itself is the ability for this to flex. So you can see that this has articulation left, right, up, down, so it follows the contour of the ground. That's a big deal. The other thing is, and you might not be able to hear it, but there's actually a spring in here, a tension spring behind the module, and that takes 40% of the weight off the front of Yarbo. So that's a big deal too. You know what? One of the things I just forgot to mention, we are running a special to the end of, and I meant to mention this in the beginning, but you'll see HLW 300 at the bottom of this screen. That is a coupon code for $300 off of Yarbo. It runs until tonight, the end of Halloween, so 12 a.m. tonight. That gives you $300 off, and if you order by the end of tonight, you also get a free plow module if you order the Snowblower. So that's pretty cool too. Alrighty. So again, you can articulate left and right, up, down, the tension spring. There's a rain sensor right here, 2 cameras in the front, soft touch bumper, ultrasonic sensors. One thing I want to do real quick is actually, and then I'll look at some questions, but I'm going to undo this module because I want to show you guys underneath. Okay. So let me grab that tablet here. Someone's asking, can you make Yarbo bark? Yes. I expected car size battery or bigger. Yeah, so Yarbo has a 38 amp hour battery. That's one of the biggest in the industry, actually, as far as for a residential one. Kev Dog, can I appreciate you and the team and the work you have done? Can't wait. Make tons of video by 2024. Great, man. No, I'm excited for you to get it as well. Okay, so all right, so this is the bottom of the lawnmower, and you have 2 cutting discs, 5 razor blades per disc. One of the really unique things here is this metal skirt that goes all the way around. So this metal skirt actually allows Yarbo to go up to like 1.5 inch or 2 inch high obstacles. That could be a Belgian block that you need to cross from one side of your driveway to the other. It could be a tree root. It could be pavers that you have. I have like 18-inch pavers in my backyard, and most lawnmowers get stuck on it. Yarbo can actually go up and climb right over that. And because it's a tension spring, instead of the front module wanting to buckle, it actually wants to go up and over things. In the wheels, there's lift sensors, so that if you do get the wheels hung up on something or someone lifts the front of Yarbo, it'll shut down the blades. That's important. Some other really, really important things is, and probably one of the most important things and unique to Yarbo's lawnmower, is this guy right here. So on the right and left of Yarbo is accessory ports. Excuse me. I just want to make sure that this tracking gets kicked on again. Hold on one second for me, guys. Okay. Okay. So again, these accessory ports. So our first 2 accessories come out in the spring of 2025. That's an edger and a trimmer module. And that's really important because one of the last pieces of the puzzle for maintaining a lawn autonomously with a lawnmower is you still need to edge and trim. So we plan on solving that and then using those accessory ports for other accessories in the future. Like we will have a broadcast sprayer, but if you have a healthy lawn and you only have 1 or 2 weeds, you can treat them with spot treating, right? With the actual weed treatment, right? A little container. And then you don't have to broadcast your entire lawn with pesticides and things like that. So that's pretty neat. And then we could have other modules in the future. So that's the lawnmower in a nutshell. Let me see if anyone else has other questions regarding the lawnmower. For the 2024 version, how many acres can Yarbo maybe handle. Can Yarbo cut before it needs to charge? So Yarbo can cut 0.43, I believe it's, yeah, 0.43 acres per charge. That we get the maintaining 6 acres by cutting it 2 times a week. And the other thing is, obviously, if you wanted to use it for some other application, you can hot swap the batteries. We only really see it going per charge in a commercial setting. So in a commercial setting, we'll eventually have multiple Yarbos being able to work together, share maps, things like that. Like if a landscaper wants to use them. But if if a landscaper was going to put Yarbo at, say, a college campus, he would just leave it there with the docking station and let it maintain that whole area. And maybe he'd have, 5 or 8 Yarbos or something like that. Let's see. How do you change so Deborah Scott, you said, oh, how often do you change the blades? So if you're not cutting in wet grass, which obviously we recommend you don't, even though you can, then you're probably talking every 2 to 3 months, depending on the type of lawn that you have. And again, how much area you're doing, right? If you're only doing a quarter of an acre or a half an acre, then, Yarbo's not running that much. So you could probably stretch that out. Let's see here. What else do we have? Okay. All right. So if nobody has any more questions with the lawnmower, and if you do, I could still answer them, but let me show you guys the leaf blower. So I'm going to move this Smart Assist module out of the way. Let me get the chute out of the way. I'll move the lawnmower out of the way. And one thing you will notice is the grass has stopped growing here, which is why we're not demoing the lawnmower's cutting ability. But there are 2 pine trees above us, and there's a bunch of pine needles on the ground. So if you guys give me a second here, I'm just going to get it set up so that I can show you how Yarbo handles blowing all of these pine needles. So hang on one second, and then the hose attachment as well. So give me 1 minute here because we have some things to move around. Excuse me. Okay, sorry for pointing you guys on the sun. Give me 1 minute here. Okay. Let me just spin the camera around. Okay. So I'm going to bring the blower over to Yarbo. We'll hook him up quick. So again, I'm going to take that blue cable. I'm going to connect it into the side. I'm going to lock these 2 tabs down. We're locked in. And again, within the app, let me just make sure everyone's still with me. Let me grab that tablet. Hang on. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, sorry. So a couple other questions. So Kevdog was asking, so Yarbo can cut 6 acres, but we'll need 2 charges times to complete this. No, so Yarbo maintaining 6 acres, what do you call it, is cutting it 2 times a week. So it takes about 3 days to cut 6 acres. Can the mower cut down to less than 1 inch? No. So, what do you call it? It can't go down to 1 inch. It's 1.2 inches, but we will probably have like a fairway kit, which would basically mean that if we can go from 1.2 to 4 inches now, that would allow you to go, say, maybe down to at half an inch, but you'll lose a half an inch, you'll lose 0.7 inches on the top end. So Yarbo would then be able to go to like 3.3 inches as the maximum height, because you're basically just putting a spacer there to lower the blades. Let's see. All right. I do want to warn you guys too that my niece and nephews are coming here soon. They're a little bit of maniacs, and yeah, so that's also happening. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So mode for blower is a need. Yep. So this actually has, that's what I was just going to show you guys. So now you can see it says blower has been connected. And we can actually set up a map for the blower now. But in this case, I'm just because they're quick, I'm just going to let this run and I will control it. So let me bring it this way. I'm just going to raise the speed up. And we're going to turn it. Grease for tracks, Brian, we will get you a video on that. Okay, let me stand out here a little bit for you. I'm trying to understand how much exactly Yarbo cuts before it. That's 0.43 acres per cut. Okay, here we go. So we'll start the blower up, and you'll hear the blower, it spools up. So in a second, it's going to get to full power. So now it's at full power. So that's 775 CFM. So the other thing I'll do is just lower the front of the module a little bit to get it closer to the ground. And the other thing you could do is start from the outside and work your way in. And basically Yarbo can work in a circle, blowing everything into a pile. You can also start from the middle and go to the outside. Brian, you're asking about the grease. It's the same for the 2023. Is Yarbo rodent proof? Mice are very destructive and can cause damage. Yeah, we haven't had any issues with, Yarbo getting into, being chewed up by mice or anything, luckily. But yeah, no issues to date anyways. Now let's bring it back here to blow some of the pine needles that haven't been touched before. And then we'll hook up the hose real quick, so I'll show you the handheld version of it. But as you can hopefully see, there's no lack of power on the blower. And because Yarbo has cameras in the back, it can drive backwards as if it was forward. So it doesn't need to make turns if you just want to blow the leaves from the left side to the right. And again, if you want to blow leaves into the middle, it's going to take a spiral pattern around your property. And if you want to blow leaves to the outside, it's going to do the spiral pattern, but just the opposite way. And there's also 3 speeds. That was the highest speed. But the one thing with Yarbo, because it's robotic, is that a lot of times you don't even need the highest speed. A lot of times the lowest speed is fine for, dry leaves and things like that, because you want more control over how you blow things instead of, going at high speed all the time, because then you have less control, right? So the unit will operate for about an hour per charge on high, but if you go down to low, you're probably going to triple that time in this type of power. Alrighty, and Halabi said the blower is a great thing to me that will help me a lot in the coming spring. That's terrific. Let's see here. Does Yarbo run 24 hours a day between charges to achieve its? Yes, it does. Yeah, and someone just noted Tony because of the light all the way around. So I understand now. It will take 14 charges. Yes, correct. All right, let's see what else we got here. So when round or about should we expect to receive our M1 and B1? So I believe most people are receiving the M1 in November. If they had a 2023 version, they should have received it already. The 2024 version is in November. And the blowers, I believe all of them are in December. I believe, but there was just an email sent out about that with probably more specifics than I can remember off the top of my head. Can you lock the video on the Yarbo and show the spiral pattern, please? Let me try, actually. I don't know if this camera has the ability to do that. Give me 1 second. Just give me a minute here. Maybe. Okay, let's try. So, Tony, the blower doesn't, the camera doesn't go 360 degrees. It only goes 180. So that's why I have to kind of keep it in front of us. But basically, it's kind of like a spiral or corkscrew, and it'll work its way from the outside and then keep getting closer and closer. And then, like, because the wind is blowing this way, the other thing you can obviously do um, is cut the power down. So that way you have more control. Alrighty, and then I will show you guys how you can hook it up with the hose. All right, so let's see, just a couple other things here. Are they called the M2 and B2? No, they're not. They're basically, with Yarbo and Optimus, I'll never have to leave the man cave. Yeah. Please make a clear video about how to set up and connect the base station to the internet and POA. I'm not an expert. Yeah, Hallaby, actually, we have that already on our YouTube channel. If you just search Yarbo and go to our official YouTube channel, there's a bunch of how-to videos. Also on support.yarbo.com, you can see a bunch of videos there too, which we've embedded. So let me show you guys the hose attachment. So give me 1 second here. So again, it's no tools. It's just a wing nut. You're going to unscrew it. And you're going to slide off this nozzle. We will have other optional nozzles in the future. But if you wanted to get into flower beds or dry off your car or something like that, then this is what this is really built for. So we're just going to slide this on, just twist on, and then you're going to tighten down this little wing nut. And then we are going to start back up the blower. Yeah, so Tyler, right now it's not using the cameras, but we are going to train the cameras to do exactly that, right? So if you're moving leaves, we can see the leaves and we'll know how to control the power. Right now you can control the maximum power and then we'll dial it down the closer we get to the inside of the mat. But that's the other thing we want to do for the snowblower is to train the AI to detect snow so that even though we rely on the internet right now and weather forecasts, it could be hyper local and actually know that when it finishes snow blowing or moving a pile of leaves, that it actually moved it. It didn't just complete the plan, right? So that's very clever. That's something we are actually have in our roadmap. Okay, so let me turn this guy on and I'll show you how the hose works. So again, just give it a second to get up to speed. But now you have a powerful handheld blower, which is nice. Oops. Every once in a while I hit the blower, the bumper, on accident. Just to show you, I'll go this way. You can tell this is a large amount of pine needles. Alrighty. Okay. I've been wondering how the hose will work. Will Yarbo follow you around while you hold the hose? Kev, actually, that's a great idea. There's no reason we can't have it do that. right now the follow me mode is exclusive to the smart assist module that comes with Yarbo, but it works off dual cameras. So the idea is in the future, Yarbo will improve the algorithm so that it can at least follow behind you and possibly alongside you. I would love to get it to a point where we could follow it alongside you, but yeah, right now, as you can see, I'm what do you call it? Manually controlling it. Halaby said, "Great, thanks." By the way, you have a dead lawn. Need to take care of it. It's actually my sister's lawn, but I'll let her know. We try and change houses all the time. Can you use the follow me feature with the blower? Yeah, so that's what we're going to be working on. Right now, we drive it around. I've been wondering how the hose will. Okay, same thing. Tim Lawrence said, I volunteer my yard for your next blower demo. Sounds good. Great for blow drying your car. Yeah, I use it to dry off the car all the time. Alrighty. So, yeah, guys. So, I mean, if anyone has any other questions, please let me know. Will be great if we can. It would be great if it can follow me while I walk and blow everything with the hose. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And again, following behind you is something we should absolutely be able to do. That shouldn't be an issue. On the sides of it, it has a single camera, so the depth isn't as good, but it might not really matter. But yeah, no, I agree. That's definitely going to be one of our goals. So, yeah, guys. So let's see here. Pressure washer. That's a good one. Yeah, we've had pressure washer. We've had what do you call it? Like a pooper scooper, right? Type setup. I have 2 mountain dogs, so that one's near and dear to me. Yeah, we will definitely look into those. And again, we send out surveys all the time to figure out from our customers what they want to see next. Tyler, did you see my question about anti-theft? Yeah, so I had answered that, but I'll go over it one more time. You might have come in after I went over that. So couple things. So if you try and lift Yarbo, right, Yarbo's pretty heavy. It's a minimum of 100 pounds. It can go up to 180 pounds. But if someone does pick it up and the GPS is moving, but the motors aren't, we assume that it's being taken, and we'll send off an alert if you have it set to the high security through the speakers as a warning, right? That, the person, a picture is being taken and sent to the owner. The other thing is it has geofenced areas. So if it leaves your property, you'll also know that. And then you can track it anywhere in the world. So it'll activate a 4G radio, right? 4G cellular, and you can track it anywhere it might be. So yeah, anti-theft is very, very important to us. Does the 2024 version, the 2024 delivery come with a charger for the battery? The charger that you can hook up to the battery directly. I think that's actually an accessory, but I'll double check that for you. Oh, the question was about battery backup on board for when the main battery is dead. Sorry, Tyler. There is no battery backup on board, but the battery is secured in with security screws. So, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could add an Apple tag or something like that, in the battery compartment. But it would be pretty difficult for someone to figure out how to remove the battery, then to also have the security screws. And because you know exactly when it leaves your yard and exactly where it is, by the time they figured out how to remove the battery, you'd probably even know where they are, or the battery dies. The battery can last for about 10 days with the 2024 version in standalone mode, meaning that it was fully charged, it was take off the docking station, and now it's just going to idle. So you'll get about 10 days of battery life with it. Good question. Yeah, guys. So again, the HLW 300 goes until 12 a.m. tonight. So any of those orders would have, it needs obviously a Yarbo main core, but that'll get $300 off the price, and then a free snowplow blade. Let's see, where does it store those pictures it takes, and can we take pictures and videos with the Yarbo manually? You can't record them manually right now, and even if it sends you a picture, it's just going to be the picture. It's not going to save it. You would save it to your phone. We are working out cloud storage and possibly local storage. You have to be careful with that about how much you actually write to the disk, right, for the life of the CPU and or the life of the disk even actually, or the memory in the actual machine. But we are working on, different ways to do that, local storage, cloud storage, that type of thing. Who can I know? Who can I know? What version will I get? 2023. If you ordered in any time in May or forward, then you're getting a 2024 version. So, um, so yeah. So you're getting anything that was demoed here is all 2024. So the snowblower uses the weather forecast to know when to operate. Yes, it does, or you can override it. So you can make up your own manual schedule if you want. Um, so it can go off the weather, which is something we didn't have last year, or you could manually set your own schedule, kind of whatever you're comfortable with. Alrighty, let's see here. I don't see any other questions, so with that in mind, any other questions, you can obviously just post to us on Facebook or comment on this video, and we'll be happy to answer them. Hopefully we'll start trick-or-treating here soon, and we'll take some video for you guys so you can see what Yarbo looks like, the smokestack and the kids and stuff. But I want to thank everybody for joining this live. I also want to thank everybody for being patient with the deliveries. Yarbo is definitely a first of its kind product. Doesn't come out, doesn't come without its challenges in production and logistics and things like that. But we cannot wait for everybody to get their Yarbo and and experience it, for themselves. We're really, really excited for that. So, yeah, so if there's no other questions, I just want to wish everybody a happy Halloween until the next live. And any questions, anything you want to see in a Q&A video, I know someone mentioned the data center, which we do have that video, but anything else that you feel is not clear or you need, some more guidance on, please let us know and we'll be happy to do another live or another video on it. I will be doing another live video on the blower operating autonomously. It's just hard to pack into these types of events, and the patrol mode as well. We definitely want to show you also. So, ESP, thank you for your informative videos. You're very welcome, guys. Kev, thank you as well. Good questions. Tyler, it's really good to see you also, and I know we have to connect. I didn't forget about you. I've just been traveling a ton. Have you ever decorated your arbor for Halloween and let it run in the yard like a ghost or something? Yeah, actually, Tyler, I don't know if you saw. You know what? Why don't we do that before we close this out? I will just show you what we dressed Yarbo up as, Tyler, because I think you came maybe not late, but not to the beginning of this, and I showed it at the very beginning. So you know what? Let's hook up Yarbo real quick. I'll run the train around with Yarbo attached, and you can see what we dressed Yarbo up as and what it's going to do with the kids, because you might get a kick out of it. So I'm just going to unlock this. Again, collision occurred. Take off this module. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Just because I don't feel like carrying the snowblower module all the way over here, I'm going to drive Yarbo to it. Okay. And so the reason Yarbo is driving so slow is because it has no module on it. So as a safety precaution, it'll just go extra slow. Hopefully this will follow me. Okay. So now we'll hook up the snowblower. And the other interesting part is, just so you guys know, following me, pulling the cart, doing the snowblower, doing the leaf blower for the amount of time that we did, the battery is at 86%. So it still has pretty good battery. Okay, so for this, we're going to hook up. Collision occurred. That collision is with me, Yarbo. Thank you. So again, I'm going to put the Oh, you know what I'll do with this actually? One of the tricks to this, because we're on the ground, not on the pavement, I'm just going to raise the angle up a little bit on the module and pick this guy up. And that makes it a little bit easier. Well, to get this guy on. Wait for it to snap. So we have that there. This is our smokestacks, Tyler. We'll power this guy on. It's like a portable fog machine. Hopefully I can get this remote control to power on. There we go. Okay, so I don't know if my speakers are paired anymore, so let me check that real quick. Yeah, let me do this real fast. Give me 1 second. I just want to pair this with Yarbo to get the sound again. And then I'll show you what we did for the kids. So I'm going to hold this button down because I cleared it before. It's going to flash the 2 back lights real fast. And actually, if you go to our Facebook pre-order page, there are a bunch of people that dressed up their Yarbos for Halloween in some really, really neat ways. Really clever. So for us, what we did was, my son loves trains. So we play music. Any music you play through your phone will come through Yarbo. And then we are going to tow. There's one cart in front of the camera you might not be able to see, and then all these carts, and we have some skeletons in the back we have to put in, and some candy and things like that. In fact, if you go to that pre-order page, you can actually see me surprising my niece and nephews, and then towing them around. And you can see some of the other costumes that were done for Yarbo, which is just pretty cool. Things you can't do with, like, say, a regular robotic lawnmower or something like that. Let me just get the camera here. Yeah, Ryan, that collision was me. I don't want to use the wrong grease or something. We will definitely get you the grease video. I think it's already up there, but if it's not, we will. Kind of the camera setup. What kind of camera setup? It's actually the DJI Pocket 3, the Osmo Pocket 3, and then it's hooked into a laptop using Streamlabs to stream to YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok at the same time. It's plugged in with a wire, but there's also ways to do it wirelessly. But really, really comes in handy. The Yarbo should have a ghost sound. Yeah, I know. So actually, Steve, if you join our Facebook group, I will send you the link, but it's actually on Amazon. So it's this guy. So battery powered. And hopefully I can get it to turn off now. Let's see. There we go. Battery powered from Amazon. You just put a little bit of oil in it, and for the fog, and you're off and running. But I will actually get a build on how we did this, because we're going to redecorate Yarbo for Christmas. Same theme, a train, but have a wreath with LEDs and stuff like that, and probably use follow me mode then as well. So yeah. So all right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up because my kids are going to be here soon with my wife, and then we're going to go out with my niece and nephews and do some trick-or-treating. But yeah, I know people are saying thank you. I want to thank you guys. I really, really, really appreciate the engagement. Tyler, Tyler, you're absolutely welcome, and thank you so much for the good questions. DB Mad Dog said delivery time if I order today, so it'll take about 2 months to get to you, so you would have it in December. Um, Honestly, that's just because we are fulfilling all the other orders, the back order first, and then you'll have it in December. And come January, we will have stock. But yeah, and I will tell you guys that come tomorrow, there will probably be a price increase as of November 1st, because we've been giving a massive discount until now. So I would definitely make use of the HLW 300, especially if you're getting the snowblower, get the free plow. But yeah, so hope everyone has a happy Halloween. And again, I just want to thank everybody for joining today. It's been a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, happy Halloween.